Welcome, my fellow Shinobis, to another tier list video. Today we are covering defense types, which include Yamato, Choji, Gaara, Kisame, Mitsuki, Jiraiya, Lord Third, Obito, and Zabuza. But I don't know. Feels like we're kind of missing someone. I don't know. Probably overthinking. Anyways, roll the intro. Now, before I start, I do want to say this could be my fault because maybe I didn't emphasize this enough because I thought it was kind of obvious, but a small portion of people do tend to look at how I label some characters' jutsus as if they were using it for their CACs. Guys, this is a character tier list. I understand that if you combine Majestic with whatever jutsu, it can be greater, but that's not what these videos are about. These videos are me breaking down how each character works and what they're capable of. We're not specifically only talking about ninjutsus here. We're talking about how they work with what's given to that character, and even small things like movement and ninja tools and regular combos will come into play. So when watching these videos, please take that into consideration. Now, of course, we'll be starting in order. So Yamato as a character definitely fits. No! God damn. Definitely fits into the S tier list. Wood Strangle is one of the best setup jutsus in the game. It lowers defense and traps your enemies in place. His second ninjutsu is the Wood Dome Jutsu, which not only blocks almost all ninjutsus, but it also damages nearby players on activation, meaning Yamato has one of, if not, the best ninjutsu combo setup as a character. Wood Strangle your opponents, which traps them in place, then activate the Dome Wall, which deals a significant amount of damage. His ultimate ability is a killer. The D-Force Emergence binds your enemies into trees, which significantly lowers their defense. Combining this jutsu with Dome Wall, this shit good. Next up is Choji, and Choji is an A tier character. If I'm not mistaken, Partial Expansion Jutsu is the only jutsu that has two different animations. You can use it on the ground, which swings your fist around, or in the air that allows you to get the drop on your opponents. This jutsu is not guardable and also has great knockback power. His second ninjutsu is a human boulder, and I think every Naruto fan knows how this jutsu works. Unlike Partial Expansion Jutsu, this technique is guardable, but like the Partial Expansion Jutsu, it also has great knockback power. The great thing about this technique is that it doesn't only have to be used for fighting. It can also be used to carry your opponent's flag to your base. His ultimate ability is a Super Expansion Jutsu, which enlarges Choji by a shit ton. This technique, if connects, is an automatic one-shot. Doesn't matter what alt transformation you have, you get connected with this, you're dead. The issue with this ultimate is that if you're able to see the ultimate coming, it is very easy to dodge. The best way in my opinion to use this technique is to have a teammate trap a player for you, which lets you successfully use the ultimate, or use it in crowded situations and hope for the best. Now we have Gaara, and Gaara is an A tier. And don't get me wrong, Gaara is a pretty good objective based character. Sand Shower is pretty good for flag and base battle, and if you can get a kill with Grand Sand Mausoleum, it increases the spawning time of your opponents. Although the major problem I have with Gaara is Sand Shield. Sand Shield has way too many counters, now to the point where some games you can't help but feel like you only have one useful regular jutsu. And unlike Water Pillar, which lets you move around as freely as you want after activating it, in Sand Shield you're greatly slowed down and can't use any other techniques without the Sand Shield deactivating. But besides that, Gaara is a good defense character to have on your team. Kisame is next on our list, and this was close between B and A tier, but I gotta list him as an A tier. And before someone gets upset because they swear that Subterranean Voyage goes great with their CACs, we are not only focusing on jutsus. This is not a jutsu tier list. I'm honestly not a fan of water style Shark Bomb. I'm okay with what it does when it actually connects, but how many of us are honestly gonna get hit with a Shark Bomb we can clearly see night and day? Rotate around our enemy before launching at us. It's easy as hell to dodge and even easier to guard against. That being said, it does reduce your ninjutsu to 0, so at least it has some sort of upside to it. Subterranean Voyage was a really good jutsu. You basically hide underground while refreshing up your health for as long as you stay down there. I'm not sure when exactly they did do this, but Soleo decreased how much health you get from this jutsu, so it obviously isn't as good as it was before. On top of this, there are some jutsus that do counter this ability. For example, Choji's super expansion jutsu. If you're hiding in the ground when the user uses this ability, you can die from it. If someone is using Hokage Naruto and they use Kuma Twin Impact, you can get damaged from this. And you don't really see a lot of higher prestiges using this anymore. And like I said in the range tier list video, even though hiding in the ash was a copy of this technique, I think that jutsu is better than this one. I'm not gonna act like Voyage isn't a good jutsu, regardless of the nerf. It's really good for flag battle, and yeah, it can be effective in base, but to be honest, if I'm gonna use a defense character for base battle, I'd rather use people like Jiraiya or Zabuza, because again, unlike Storm Train and Voyage, Nido Jizo does not take damage from super smashing jutsu, and Kuma Twin Impact has no effect. Water style Super Shark Bomb, in my opinion, is one of the best defense jutsus in the game, which is why Kisame stays as an A tier. This ultimate deals heavy damage while also knocking players back a great ton and reducing their ninjutsus all the way back to 0. Do I even need to think about it? Mitsuki near release date was known as one of the most broken characters in the game, and in some cases he still kinda is. Ripple pulls your opponents, in which allows you to continue combos or start one, and Snake Thrust, which is known as one of the most used defense jutsus, deals pretty good damage, guard breaks, and has great knockback power. What's also crazy about this is that they both give health back. And not only ninjutsus, he has a great combo attack as well. And now Sage Mode. This is the technique that really gave people problems way back then. Imagine playing against a toxic defense type. The whole match was going crazy with his jutsus. Then at one point you finally are about to kill him, and then Sage Mode. Their health gets refreshed all the way up, they have increased attack power, speed, and defense, so now it's even harder to kill them, and the moment Sage Mode is over, you gotta repeat that whole process again, and that's if the user hasn't killed you yet. Jiraiya is up next, and he is an S tier character. And the main reason why I say this is because of the added damage and decreased time it takes to use the ultimate. Not only this, but his Nido Jizo now decreases ninjutsu charge up speed of the enemies it hits. Total Oil Bomb also disables ninjutsus and slows down movement speed, and for a defense type getting their hands on jutsus like these, that doesn't have that small of a cooldown, good thinking, Sulio. Lord 3rd Hiruzen is up next, and he is a B tier character. Hiruzen's fire style technique is a really quick projectile attack that deals decent damage. If you aren't guarding against this attack, it's extremely rare for you to dodge this, unless you're using a jutsu, because again, it's really fast. The problem being, of course, is that it is really easy to guard against, especially if you know it's coming. Another good thing about this jutsu is that if you're able to get the animation started up, you can perform the jutsu without disturbance. So if an enemy is charging at you, but you already got the jutsu going, even though they are trying to hit you with their combos, you're able to release this jutsu with ease. Earth style Dragon Bullet. Now this is a jutsu that I think really hurts him here. Don't get me wrong, when this jutsu actually connects to a target, it's great because it lowers speed. The issue is that if you have enough experience with the game, this is not hard to dodge at all. Players will sometimes try to place this at a base to defend it, but the jutsu doesn't cover the whole area. If you stand at a certain point on the base to where the projectiles are not aiming at you, the jutsu becomes useless. You can make the argument that Hiruzen could also attack the players, which might lead to them landing near the jutsu by accident, but this game isn't always going to be 1v1s. It's a 4v4 game mode. There will be times where you're getting double teamed as Hiruzen, or even in crowded situations like 4v4s while everyone's jumping around trying to kill each other. What's the chances of you landing these projectile shots that are only aiming in one direction, especially in open maps like the training grounds or the Hidden Leaf Village? For his ultimate, it's the Reaper Death Seal, and like Hashirama, despite it being a good ultimate, it takes way too long to charge up, and there could be some games where you won't even get the chance to use it. Obito Uchiha is listed as an A tier character. Obito has one of the best combo attacks as a defense type and has a pretty strong heavy attack as well. Kamui Climax, in my opinion, pays respect to how it was in the show while being fairly balanced. The only jutsus that counter this technique is Kamui, Universal Pull, and Flame Lightning. There are 140 jutsus in the game, and only 3 of these counter the effects of Kamui. This technique is great for helping you reach a point you want to get to without disturbance, and many other things as well. Flame Lightning is a jutsu that enacts a flame barrier for you and your teammates. When Obito first came out, this used to be a huge issue, because people would literally be spamming this ability left and right. But as of right now, this ability is completely nerfed. Instead of being able to add a barrier to all your teammates across the map, you need to be close to them in order for it to take effect, and its cooldown had a pretty big increase as well. The jutsu essentially lets you move around freely without the worry of taking damage from any attack once. The problem, just like Sharingan, is that this can easily be countered by any attack, even a single kunai. When using this jutsu with CACs, I've seen people be really creative with it. Some will put up the barrier, then the healer will activate Water Pillar, and then Mind Transfer Palm Sage, because now jutsus like Snake Thrust or even Fire Release Bullet that's supposed to knock the enemy out of the pillar do not affect them. But sadly, we're not talking about CACs, we're talking about cast characters. This is a technique, like where I said, any attack can disable it. Youth Roar is the perfect counter to this jutsu, because instead of focusing on one enemy and getting rid of that barrier, you're able to take it down against all enemies around you. Obito's 2 jutsus don't really support each other at all. As long as you're not attacking, nobody can hit you with Kamui, so putting up the flame barrier at the same time would be a complete waste. It's best to use these jutsus at different times. And for its ultimate ability, it's the Fire Style Bomb Blast Dance, a jutsu that shoots out flames in a spiral rotation. This jutsu is pretty massive, and if you don't don't have a substitution can be fatal. And in my opinion, it gets the job done most of the time, which really boosts Obito's rankings here. Zabuza is our last defense type, and he is no question an S tier. He holds one of the most overpowered jutsus in the game, the Demon Hunter. Zabuza already has great combos for a defense type, so adding in Demon Hunter to this fact makes him even better. So Lil also buffed this jutsu not too long ago, which gives users recovered health for the first strike damage you do when activating this technique. Water Prison is up next, and this jutsu is another fantastic setup technique. Now, I know this can be easily countered, just like Flame Formation and Sharingan, with simple attacks like a single kunai. The difference, however, is that Zabuza's jutsus work perfectly together. If you enter the Demon Hunter state, you don't flinch despite most attacks. That grants you the freedom to perform any jutsus without having to worry about it getting cancelled. So performing techniques like Water Prison is fairly simple. You can even do it the other way around. If you're able to catch someone with this jutsu on its own, you can activate Demon Hunter right after and deal some massive damage while also receiving health back. Hit and Miss is our last jutsu of the day, and this ability blinds your enemies from all across the map. It's literally impossible to see anything from a distance, and on top of this, your substitution is cancelled, making it one of the most effective ultimate defense types have, because it will almost always get the job done, whether it's disturbing an enemy who took your flag or disabling all the substitutions of your enemies in combat battle while blocking out their view, which could lead to them separating themselves if you're playing against a good team. And that's all for today's video. No trash tier characters today, and so far we still do not have anyone listed as a D tier, but we still have one more list of characters to go through, and that's heal types. If you've enjoyed today's video, I'd very much appreciate a like, and for more content like this, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.